I feel like everything that's going to go wrong is always going to go wrong, so I just kind of expect it. And I just kind of go with it. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Hello, hello. Do we have feedback?
Hello.
Hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. Therefore, today, being our topic is female serial killers and the wrath that they bring upon others. It's only fitting that Callie shows up for this stream. So, to start us off, hopefully, you guys can hear us okay in the chat. Give us a thumbs up and let us know everything is all right. Welcome to Horror Honeyz. I'm your host, Callie. And with us, we have Femme Fatale, Dame Saturday.
Hello, how's everybody? And with me, I have the magnificent Mary P.
Hello, and we also have Mia Mina, the undead ballerina.
And we also have the wonderful Bathsheba, the honey of 1,000 creepypastas. The Horror Honeyz, as you heard Bathsheba say, we've got female serial killers today.
Ooh.
Yes. And boy, let me tell you, there's no shortage. That's for damn sure.
We could probably do a year of shows on
them all. Yeah.
They give me all sorts of work to do. Good gracious.
We had this idea way back in January. It was actually Dame Saturday's idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we started collecting female serial killers back then. And you're going to get to hear about some of them because I know we're not going to get to all.
Yes, but we've got the best of the best for you, and that's what counts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
But first,
remember to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell to get more people in here.
Yes, please.
Yes.
And we have a list of names now for our little mascot. We're looking for a way to get a poll going, so you guys can help us choose.
Yes, choose carefully.
Yes, please, I need a name.
We have our question of the day, which is, when you hear the term serial killers, generally you think of many men that we all know: Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy. I could go on, but we're not going to because they're not our focus today. There are female serial killers, some which came out way before even Jack the Ripper.
Mm-hmm.
And while you don't hear as much about them, and so we're taught to believe that they aren't as prevalent. Which ones can you think of? Which ones come to mind when you hear the words female serial killer? But before we get into that, let's see who's in the chat.
Oh, yes.
It's gonna have to be my eyes because I don't have my second phone. And
I see
just
Mercury the Scribe.
Mercury the Scribe.
We got you.
I can't even see Discord. I can't see the list.
Hey, Leonard Barton.
We have the infamous Spike Hunter. What are you hunting for, my dear?
Yes, she is on our list. She is on our list, Mercury.
And our beloved horror queen, I bow before you.
We've got Hawk62. We've got PA Nightmare. We've got Drewski Gone Gaming.
Oh, don't forget. Oh, another ruler. King 17. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Spike Hunter.
Oh,
Yes, I
Deborah
am aware
W.
that I can't. King 17. Okay, I must be lagging.
Also, we got Aaron, the infamous Baby Doe.
baby doll.
Baby doe. We just a baby doe.
We did the baby
A
doe.
Deborah W.
Hello, Drewski. How you doing?
And I apologize to everybody for my voice today.
Oh, we got Hawk 62.
Oh,
Just swooped right in.
you don't have to apologize for anything. Because my opinion is the only one that matters on that. Nobody else.
Oh, I don't care.
Please get better. Yeah.
After last week, I figured you guys were gonna have a sit down and drive down here to force me to get on the air if I didn't get on the air this week. So.
I know. It doesn't feel like, I mean, we can do it, but it doesn't feel right. We need our group.
Oh,
we
yes.
need everybody.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We're glad that you are feeling a little bit better. We're sorry that you're still under par, not feeling that well, and we wish you the best, of course. You're always in our thoughts and prayers, Mia.
Just like you guys are.
Hey, if anything, our laughter will be your T-cell count. It would actually increase it more.
There you go.
Mercury.
Banshee, Mercury the Scribe said that you look amazing.
Thank
Doesn't
you,
she?
Mercury. I appreciate it. I did my best. I was a little
Oh,
worried
no.
you couldn't see the details, but
Oh no! Oh no! We have the dreaded evil outcast. Oh no!
evil outcast.
Outcast.
You're so
Yay.
evil.
Yes.
Deliciously evil.
So if anything
Ooh,
falls off my
deliciously
face, I
evil.
apologize because I was having issues today with my adornments. So if something falls off, it probably will. It's all part of the act, I'm sure. My rage, my wrath, it is
It was
too
meant to
strong.
happen.
It makes the shit like rivets off my face. Thank you.
Can you growl like a dog?
No, I can't really. I'm not very good at that right on the spot. Sorry. So
It's okay, Leonard. I'm not really awake right now either, if that makes you feel any better.
Yes. We're all on kind of autopilot, but let's make the most of it, huh?
Indeed. So who do we start with? Oh my God. You know what? I think Dame's got a really good one to start off with.
Oh, yes. Oh, dear God. This woman is hailing from Italy, and her name is Leonarda Ciancilli, born in April the 18th, 1894, and died October the 15th, 1970, also known as the Soap Maker.
Oh, don't forget the tea cakes.
Oh, yes.
Tea
Yes,
cakes.
we must not forget the tea cakes. At least she indulged her guests, but at someone else's expense. Oh, yeah. And she murdered in 1939 3 of her best friends, chopped them up with an axe, and made them into soap. Even said that one of them smelled sweet and tasted sweet as well.
Oh, God.
Yeah. What'd she do? She ground up, she took the blood and she waited for it to coagulate and dry, and she would mix it in with the flour to make the tea cakes for consumption.
But all to protect her son Giuseppe. Because times were tough back then in that era. And she killed Faustina Setti, a lifelong spinster, as best you can say, to help finding a husband. So I guess she wouldn't be missed by those kind of standards. And Francesca Silvavi and Virginia Capo.
God, can you imagine?
Yes.
It's like, you can't imagine. That
No.
scares me, Dame. That scares me. Just
Yes,
a little bit.
Oof.
it does. And her excuse was that she was destined to do this sort of thing because right from the get-go when she was born back in 1894, her mother just did not like her from day one. At all. She had, I guess, a valid reason to do so because she was born out of a rape's product.
Oh.
She had to, like, her mother had to marry her father, which was actually her rapist.
Oh.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes, so
Mm-mm.
again, late 19th century, times were different back then, so I guess you can excuse it. They did not know any better. As far as
Yeah, Mia
civility
says
goes
her mother
nowadays.
said she was cursed, the spawn of the devil.
Yes. Yes, she was. She was from the get-go, because imagine being a small child and being told that you're evil by your own mother doing that, all because she did not want you in the first place.
That's messed up.
Yes.
And you know what?
Yeah.
That's not the only case of that either.
Yes.
That repeats itself in history a lot. Damn.
And because instead I would hate her father, not my child, because that's not her fault at all. Sorry, but that's just the way it is. That's the way I see it, but apparently they didn't back then. And you can also see her murder weapons in a little museum in Rome, Italy. To this day, you'll actually see the cauldron of where she turned people into soap.
Mia says a fortune teller told her in her right hand she saw prison, and in her left she saw an asylum.
Oh,
I believe
yes.
that's to her mother.
Yes, she did all sorts of fortune telling to do so, and said that that's her fate. She must stick with it. Yep. Pretty much had to go with that script. So it involved being an ex-murderer and a cannibal.
Jeez.
But
I'm gonna go to prison anyways. I mean,
yes, but I
make people into soap.
I have to admit, I am actually a little bit morbidly curious because I'm wondering how long of a process did it take?
Right? I was wondering that. That makes me feel better.
And also, there's something wrong with the lady if she's called it sweet. I've actually smelled things like that along those lines, and it's not sweet. I'm sorry, but it isn't. I have to wear a mask in order to do tests like those. Jeez. And also, you're welcome.
Mia said she wrote it about it in her diary.
Yeah, that's the one thing that a lot of people are just like, oh, how? But a lot of serial killers will do that. It's almost a part of their, the process, that whether it be for like a souvenir type thing to be able to keep that memory alive. That they want to be, some collect memorabilia, others, they'll write down everything. Some people have tallies, and it's just like, wow, that's gonna bite you in the ass at some point.
Oh, yeah.
You know this, right? So
Leonard says first rule of soap human making. Like Fight Club, you don't talk about it. And Mercury the Scribe says, I hear human soap makes your skin super shiny. Mia did add she boiled the bodies in a caustic mix. The blood she used in her cakes in the thick dark mush, which was basically the fat and skin was left after the boiling. Oh god.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder just how long did that process take?
I'm wondering about the cleanup, to be honest.
Yes.
That's where my head goes.
Yes, I wonder too. I guess it was all done in her basement.
Well, I mean, it would make sense because, I mean, Okay, if you, oh, okay. Well, oh, this is going to be a tangent, but we'll go off on it. There was an experiment done about somebody putting their hand in a bag of water for, it was so many hours, I can't remember, for overnight. Maybe, I think it was 2 days. I don't know if it was 2 days. But the thing is, if you were to leave it going for about 2 weeks, you would have basically the point that you would be making what they call, what is it called, corpse soap or grave soap. It's a residue that is usually like places where you bury the bodies that have problems with water, like down in New Orleans and stuff like that, where the ground is really saturated. Grave soap, I think it's called. It starts decomping. Even if you're alive, it'll decomp. And that fat or whatever, it starts coming off in sheets, you know, the skin and all that stuff as it's you know, breaking down the cells and everything like that. And this grave soap, I mean, when you think about it, what's the main ingredient that they use in soap?
Fat.
So in humans, well, you know, I got some lard on me. I'd make a nice bar of soap. I don't think anyone would want to buy Mon-Fri soap. I don't know.
Although God. I have a few things to add here too. I think the movie Fight Club was actually inspired by this lady. Because they actually did that in the movie. If anybody is not familiar, what happened in the old movie Fight Club, what they did was they took liposuction from medical waste facilities and made that into soap as like a side business.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I'm just wondering, were they inspired by her? I wonder.
Possibly.
I don't know.
I could see the connection. Definitely.
Yes.
Ew. Gross. Barf.
Oh, there she is. Me, are you back? Okay.
Yay! I have a face.
Yay! So happy.
So, who's next on the list?
Let me look here.
Hmm.
I don't know. Who do you want to do?
I can't even look at anything. I can't look at anything. Can I tell you mine?
Yeah.
Go for it.
You're going to have to fill me in on the details because, you know, I can't look at it.
It's the goal,
No. We'll wait for that one.
Oh.
Well, should we? Should we go ahead and just do the goal?
Who are you going to do?
Toppin.
Okay.
Okay, so Toppin, if you can fill in her name and some dates. I can't see it. I'm so sorry. I forgot that I only have a phone.
Hold on.
And my other.
Where is she? Oh,
she was a nurse.
Yeah, she was a nurse.
Yes, she was a nurse. And
what was her first?
Jane Toppin. Jane Toppin.
Toppin.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, so she is a nurse taking care of many people. And she said that basically what she would do is she would poison them. She was somewhat of an angel of death, I suppose, but it was not done for mercy at all. Now, what she would do is when she would poison them, she would make sure that she would poison them slowly so they would suffer. She said that she enjoyed watching them suffer to the point that she got sexual arousal from watching them thrive in pain.
That is sadistic.
It is. If that is not, you know, right up there with any serial killer that I could think of right off the bat, I don't know what it is. But the fact that she would get her jollies off that, watching somebody.
Actually, it's funny you say Jollies because her nickname was Jolly Jane.
Very befitting.
I'm just assuming the time period that they were doing that. Of course, they would be all in a fairly large room with multiple patients. You know, it reminds me of like a TB clinic or something like that. Or, you know, during World War II, or excuse me, Revolutionary War, where there's just one big room and all these people lined up. You would think that somebody would catch on, but God, how many victims did she finally have? Does it state?
12.
Oh, there was more than that.
Jane?
And
For
I would
Jane.
have, yeah, from her
She
victims.
confessed to 31 murders.
Yeah. 12
But
identified.
there was probably more of that. Yeah, the ones that they were able to identify on that. There's one sick bitch. I'm sorry, but
Oh, yes.
damn, thriving from, it seems like a lot of the killers on our list were more apt to use poisons. They're a little bit more personable. They think they're a little bit easier to hide. A lot of people won't know, they just confuse the side effects of poisoning to being something due to the reason why they're in the hospital in the first place. So, and when you have a plethora of stuff, as far as medications are concerned, the things you could do to people is limitless, really. But damn, woman, come on. Really? Topping, man.
Yes.
It's cold. That is got her jollies off. Jolly Jane. Jolly Jane. Jolly Jane. Jolly Jane. Anywho. Okay, so what would be another good one on our
Who's
list?
next? Who is next? I wonder.
I do want to mention also, just in case, Mia needs to get back into the call.
Yes.
Yes,
Very
please.
true. We
Come
need to
back.
wait.
Come back, Mina.
She bumped off.
Oh, crap.
We do have Amelia Dyer as well.
Oh, my God.
She had the 400 infants that she...
Oh, yes. Oh,
That was bad. But apparently, back in the day, if someone had
Okay,
a
I'm back.
child... Yay!
Well, it wasn't just out of wedlock. There was also parents who couldn't afford to take care of their child, or parents who had too
Mhm.
many children, and they were taking their children to her to take care of them and to find a home for them if she couldn't. And
At least that's what they thought.
And they had to pay a
well,
small fee.
they were paying
through their
her for it.
upfront or installments. Yeah, that's
Like,
why she did it. was
lady,
for
they're
the-
not Cabbage Patch Kids. They're actual real babies that need care.
But she would give them laudanum, which they don't even use laudanum anymore. Okay, that's one of the reasons they don't is because of what it's made of and because it can kill you. And people get very addicted to it. And she would kill them and she would wrap them up in paper and throw them in the Thames. As Mary said, about 400 children. Yes, it is an opium derivative.
Damn.
And the way she got caught is when she threw the last, and I can't remember the name of the mother, because the mother was actually hoping to get the child back, and she left the child, went back, was told that the child was sleeping and she couldn't see her. Another child was brought out the next time, and she knew it wasn't her child, even though she was told it was her child. But so she had gone to have it investigated, and then they found this baby wrapped in packing paper with Amelia Dyer's address and name on it.
Whoops.
And if she hadn't wrapped it in
Yeah,
that
big one.
particular paper, she would have never gotten caught.
Do I have to say it? Karma's a bitch.
Oh, yes, and also using upon return to sender in a poetic sense.
But yeah,
Yeah.
she would kill them with the laudanum and then wrap their bodies up in packing paper and dump them in the Thames. So you don't have it's when somebody says that the drinking water in pre-industrial times, I'm trying to think of the right word, was not really a good idea to drink the water. Really wasn't a good idea to drink the water.
Yeah, and you know what? This is why I don't drink water to this day.
There is artificial intelligence. I see you, mutant artificial intelligence. But she believed nobody saw her. She didn't think that she would ever be caught. It was never going to happen.
Yeah, they get on that big old
car
about that. They go on a rush. Like, first they kill one person and, thinking, okay, I am going to get caught. I need to be careful. And then when they kill another person, that's when they amp it up. They get really excited. It's like, oh, shit, I cannot get caught at all. This is wonderful. And they keep on doing it. And then they get overconfident. And it leads to their, it leads to their demise soon.
Yeah. I wanted to, and because I wasn't in here, I couldn't do it.
Oh?
I wanted to define serial killer.
Oh, yes, please. That's a good idea.
Because I think there's a misconception about what a serial killer is by definition. A serial killer is typically a person who murders 3 or more people. So you have to have murdered at least 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
Usually in the service of an abnormal psychological gratification, such as the nurse who was getting off on the fact that she was watching them die.
Mm-hmm.
Or believing that you're protecting your 4 boys by killing and turning people into soap and cakes. With murders taking place over more than a month and including a significant period of time in between them. So there's not just they're murdering 3 people. There's some type of psychological gratification they're getting out of it. And you notice that with our first one, Leonarda, she actually wouldn't have gotten caught if Virginia's sister had not believed what was going on.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they came and they interviewed her and she denied any wrongdoing. But when they went after her son Giuseppe, she admitted everything, including the cakes and the soaps.
I guess she didn't want him to take the fall for it.
No, because she was a very devoted and loving mother. And that's the
that comes out.
That's the and that's why Callie is so perfect for this.
Yes.
Because there's the dynamic. Mm-hmm. She was a loving, caring, devoted, overprotective mother. Mm-hmm. Well, she had 17 children that were born, 4 of which were the only ones that made it past the age of 10. They were 4 boys. All the rest of her children died before they turned 10, and that doesn't count the miscarriages she had.
How many did she have again?
17 live births.
My grandmother, she miscarried like 9 times.
And you don't know, they didn't tell how many times she miscarried. But if you have 17 children that are born and only 4 sons make it to the age of 10 and are growing up, that's going to warp your whole thought process. Mm-hmm. At least in my mind.
It would. I mean, given the time, I mean, even nowadays, I mean, you see mothers who, have healthy babies and they suffer the baby blues.
Yeah.
I've had a miscarriage myself and it was devastating. It was devastating, but I had the option to be able to not get pregnant a little bit easier. I had my issues, of course, with certain things, but it took a while before I got over just that one.
Right.
I couldn't have imagined having back-to-back like that. I mean, I feel for my grandmother, having 9. But God dang, 17,
And then the time period, that was during World War II.
Yes.
Giuseppe had gone in, and yes, that we're going to talk about her in just a
Oh,
minute,
yeah.
Deborah.
Oh, yes. That.
Deborah Downs.
They
Oh, Diane Downs.
well,
Myra
actually, I was thinking Myra Henley.
Oh yeah.
God.
Chat.
But-
I'm so sorry.
In World War II, Giuseppe is just enlisted with the Italian army and was being sent out into the World War II fields, which were, it wasn't a good thing. Let's just say that.
Mm.
And so, yeah, people had huge, you're right, Spike Hunter, people had huge families. Sometimes out of necessity, though, as well, because farming families, they needed huge amount of families. And mutant, that's not even funny. Why am I laughing?
I can't see. Tell me.
Oh,
I dropped a 12-pack of beer and all the cans busted. I miscarried.
Oh, God. No.
Alcohol abuse. Mm.
Yes. Yes,
But-
it is.
But yeah, and you know, that's horrible. That's so horrible.
Yeah.
Myra Henley, we talked about her. She, honestly, I don't think she would have gotten as far as she did if she had not hooked up with her boyfriend. And I'm not even going to go into him because he's another sense of twisted. But he
Oh,
could not have done what he did if the children did not trust her.
Oh, yeah. She's just as much as fault as he is.
And she was leading him. She was leading the children to him. She was participating in their abuse. And, you know, maybe from all accounts, the first two children that they buried on the moors, she did not actually have a hand in killing them. But the others, she did. And yeah, there's still, I think, one or two of the children that they never did find. And she never revealed where they were. And I feel sorry for their parents. I feel sorry for their families because they had no one to close their, you know, put in the ground. The other children all were pulled out of the moors and put in proper graves. But
Yeah. Yeah, their bloodbath happened back in July 1963 to October 1965. And it was around Manchester, England when this happened. And there were 5 kids identified. Pauline Reed, John Kilbride, Keith Bennett, Leslie Ann Downey, and Edward Evans, aged between 10 to 17. And 4 of them were sexually assaulted. That's even worse.
yes, and they never found John's body. I know he was one of the ones because I remember watching an interview with his mother, and she was begging. She says, Myra knows where he's buried. Just tell us where I don't even care at this point. Just tell us where he is so we can put him to rest.
I think the gratification that she had that information.
I think that did too.
Going to release that gave her a sense of empowerment. Definitely. Over the situation, she's not going to give that.
Yeah.
She's going to keep something to herself.
And I think that the fact that she also kept claiming that it was all his fault. If you know, he did everything, but it was proved that she was involved more than she was letting on in court. Now it's interesting because she's one of the ones that taught me a little bit about the English justice system. England does not really have a life sentence as we see it as a life sentence. When they get life, that's about 40 years.
Oh my God.
Not enough.
and then they are released because that's a life sentence. Myra was, I'm trying to remember the way that they worded it. She was imprisoned at the convenience of the queen, which basically means that until the queen says she could get out or she dies, she stays behind bars. And that is an imprisonment that I've only heard of in England. Now, that may be in other countries. I may not have heard of it yet in other countries. But yeah, that's one of the interesting type of punishments that they can give over there. I think we were going to do the Pippin sisters next.
Oh yes, they scared
somebody
the
else
hell
I
out
need-
of me.
I need
Oh
a
my
break
God.
for my voice.
Oh yes, those scary French bitches. We'll cover them.
Oh boy.
Will you do the honors, Mary?
Nope, because I don't know anything about that.
Mary's got another one.
That
I
was-
think weren't you interested in looking into like Mary Bell?
Mary Bell.
Oh my.
Oh,
Mhm.
she scares the hell out
My
of me.
name.
Me too.
I like to say my namesake. Because look, this is why you don't mess with a Mary. And I said this in our very first episode
Yes,
for the survivors.
proves
This is
your point,
exactly
doesn't it?
why.
it just proves your point.
It so does. Oh God. So she
Did she like the
was a
youngest one
child.
on the list?
I think she is the
she was
youngest one
like
on our
10,
list.
11 years old.
Yeah.
Oh dear God, that's
What the
prolific.
hell?
At
Oh.
11, my
This-
God.
I know, and her life is just extreme. But yeah, no, she was around 10 or 11. And she killed 2 small boys in Newcastle.
And she enjoyed it. You're only here for the Honey High US
Yeah,
only.
she did. So, only here for the honey. Hey, Dustin. Look, Marys are important to know about, so you could save your life. But Martin Brown was 4 years old. He was one of them that was killed. He was asphyxiated. And let me see. Which was, oh my God, it just...
That's a lot of rage.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a lot of rage.
Yeah.
Face to
Oh
face
God.
and put a chokehold on somebody and just, crush their learn. Oh,
Yes.
damn.
That takes a lot of motivation right there. It really does.
It does. And I mean,
It
if
does.
somebody's hitting you, 11 years old.
She wasn't really
And mention
worried
she's
about being.
11.
She wasn't worried about it. They pissed her off, and she wasn't worried about it.
No, just I'm thinking about the process of, choking someone like that, to be able to
And
do
you
that,
know,
to let go out of them like that, and the power that it takes to be able to do that.
and you know that unless you break the windpipe, which that kind of negates
Usually
the
it's the
rest of my
consequence
statement,
of it.
you have a point where anybody you can squeeze their throat to the point where they pass out.
Oh yes.
And they pass out. It's not death, it's passing out, and a lot of people miss that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go past that pass out point,
That's just it.
you're looking to kill them. And horror movies make it look like, the person passes out, they're dead. No, the person passes out. That's the first step. You've got to actually put more pressure because they're still breathing.
It's an involuntary reaction.
Yeah.
So once that stops and
Safe
that
word required.
obstruction is
Yes.
gone, then your body just naturally
Yeah,
kicks in.
there's some people who have a fetish with that autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yes.
Oh my god,
And
I
don't do
see
that
the
by
appeal-
yourself. I mean,
I
what?
don't see the appeal behind that. I'm sorry, I just don't.
I don't either, but, you know, it's called stop.
Oh, stop!
That's safe word Albuquerque. Ugh.
No.
Yeah, that whole process. That's
Well, it's like hitting somebody with a brick.
when you stop.
Oh god.
You know?
Oh.
Okay, we talked about people who did slashers. We talked about the poisoners, but I actually had one that was actually a sniper.
Oh yeah.
Talk about Miss Brenda Spencer. Back in January the 29th, 1979, at a public elementary school in San Diego, California, a 16-year-old girl lived in a house across the street from the school, was convicted of the shootings. Her weapon was a Ruger 10-22 semi-automatic 22 caliber rifle.
Oh, God.
Yes, she was only 16, at 5'2", and was inspired by the song "I Don't Like Mondays" by the Boomtown Rats.
Oh my God, she's the same height that I am now.
Yes.
I just want everyone to.
Yes, and I have to say, like, when it comes to school shootings, you think the Columbine High School boys that did that in such a manner. She did this way before them. And it was done by a woman. What the hell does that say?
Yeah. And
I
she did
picture
it from across
Garfield
the
with like a
street.
223. That's what I see. Garfield with a 223. I hate Mondays.
Yes. Yes. And she was also a very dangerous redhead. She killed the principal and the custodian. 8 children and a police officer were injured.
And if you've ever looked at that gun, that's not an easy gun to snipe with.
Yes, that takes some skill, I will say that.
Mm.
And no, for you gun control advocates out there, because I'm sure we have some, the gun was not legally hers.
No.
She had illegal possession of the gun.
Yeah, that's not going to stop anything if somebody wants to do something.
No,
that
it's no, but and hey guys, just full disclosure here, we don't condone anything that any of these women have done.
No.
Right.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
no excuse at all for what they have done.
We don't condone them. We don't agree with what they've done. We are not trying to put them up as any kind of icons here. We're just saying that these ladies were pissed off at something or trying to do something or trying to protect something in a twisted sense, and they did it wrong.
Yes. Yes, and I would have to say they're no different than any male serial killer.
No, they aren't. They aren't.
No, they're not. Not in
Because
the slightest.
you see the same behavior out of the men as you do the women, except most of the women, you don't see a lot of the brick in the face stuff. You don't see a lot of the, well, actually you do see that. Never mind.
So, from everything that we've been talking about so far, I have to say that, Mary, things are not looking good. You're 5'2". Your name is Mary. You might be a serial killer.
Yes.
Wait a
I'm
minute,
just
Mary,
saying.
Mary, what color are your eyes?
I wonder.
It depends. Why?
Well, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of Mary.
What color?
Welch.
What color should I not say?
Right?
Hey, Trash Dash. Trash Dash, you missed us. We had your art on 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
Everybody loved your art.
Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
You've got talent. You really do.
If you haven't checked out his site, do so. Subscribe.
Yes.
I'm out.
Subscribe.
Yes, now.
Phenomenal work.
He's
Phenomenal.
amazing.
Mhm.
Oh God.
But the pictures that I saw of Mary Bell, there's a lot of black and white, but there are some color ones, and her eyes are very ice blue.
Oh yeah, no, my eyes aren't blue. I wish.
And
I have this whole thing where I have blue eye envy.
She looks. I mean, even when she's looking at the camera, she looks like she wants to kill somebody. I mean, I know that's a horrible
like
thing
that?
to say, but
Those ice blue eyes, they're just piercing. I mean, they look into your freaking soul.
my dad had those eyes.
Mhm.
My son
Mine
has
too.
those eyes.
I mean, I have those eyes, but my eyes are brown. But I'm told I look into people's souls.
Yes,
it's
don't
fine.
forget to
I
share.
apparently
the
could
stream.
be a serial killer, you know.
Well, let's see what else we can pin on Mary.
Mhm.
Besides the murder bear, you know,
Hey,
murder.
Okay, so we've also got as I scroll down here, you did Melissa Ann Shepard, right?
Oh no, we didn't cover her, the Black Widow. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
The Internet
I
Black
still
Widow.
remember.
That was out of greed.
Yes.
It is out of greed, and it's another case of do your research before you get involved with something.
Yes. Background check. Back then,
Like,
they
you've
didn't
been
really
married
have that.
7 times, have you? Yeah. And they're all
And they
dead.
all dead. Yeah.
Bad luck.
Bye.
That sounds suspicious, doesn't it?
Red flag.
innocent until proven guilty. Just saying.
You know, it has its downfalls, I suppose. I just saying. Just saying. Not saying, but just saying. Even though we even go by that in justice, yeah, we don't really go by that in justice. I don't know about all that. I don't know, unless, you know. But we're gonna get to maybe one of them cases here shortly. Carry on.
Go ahead, Dame.
Well, I will say this is that she served on prison sentences from 1977 to 1991.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes, and this happened way back in 1992 when she was actually finally caught and convicted, but she was active for a long while.
She was.
Oh,
And
yes.
Yeah, let's get
There's
married.
that are still out there.
Mhm.
They're still
Oh,
out there.
no.
There's some out there.
Oh,
And it just proves that it's not only women that fall for these people. You know, they tell women,
Well,
they say,
women
you know, be
and
careful
yes.
meeting people online. Be careful, and they're always worried about the women. The men do too. But
Mhm.
it's like
Oh,
I've told other people that it's no more dangerous to meet somebody online than it is to meet somebody in person in a bar. The only difference is if you're meeting them online, you can check their story
Yeah.
Oh
a
yeah.
hell of a lot easier than you can stand in a bar.
Correct. I mean, you know, yeah. We're all gonna be suspicious now every single time we go out. It's like, are you gonna kill me? Are you gonna kill me?
Internet
you gonna
dating is
You look
internet
like you could
dating
kill
is
me.
not really that bad. I met my husband that I'm married to now online.
You know, I would have to say stranger danger still applies to adults just as much as it does for children.
Oh, yes.
God, yes.
Yes, it does. And if you're, even though you're an adult, like, so I just met, I met one of my friends who was online for the first time in February, and I flew to her state. So one of the things I did was made sure that I had the address and everything and telephone numbers just in case for any strange reason something horrible happened to me, because you can't trust anybody that you don't, like, if you don't officially know them or anything. So just take those extra steps and make sure somebody knows where you are and make sure they know who you're with and stuff. And, you know, anything else. Don't just be like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. I'll just go off. It's okay. No, be safe about it. I mean, clearly I'm fine, but you know, it's always good to take those steps.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm good. I love her, by the way. She's awesome. So,
And also, if anybody's curious about my kind of status, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I do not date online at all. Never. So sorry, it was a big disappointment for all of you. You can dream, but sorry, but
Damn
I have
it!
no
God
dating
dang
online.
it, Dave! Oh,
Dame, why you gotta crush my heart on stream? I don't appreciate that.
Mary,
And
no.
she and I have been talking for a little while now.
Name's mine, not yours. You can't
Hey,
have it.
I'm a Grim Reaper. Maybe personal.
Banshee, you're mine.
Yeah, I
that's
know.
right.
I hid the gag ball, by the way, so you can't find it anymore.
Damn it.
I know.
No, sorry. Nothing personal, but you can dream.
We're so bad.
We'll try
We're so
later, Banshee.
Hey, I'm a claimer of souls, not hearts.
There you go. Nice analogy, actually.
Yes. Well, considering my job and all, so there you go.
Since Mia just fell offline, we're going to try to get her back on. Hang tight. I'm going to have an honorable mention, I guess, in between. God, if I can remember her freaking name, I can't look in Discord to look at the list. It looks like Locust something. I don't know. Okay,
I would look, but I'm having way more fun listening to you try to pronounce it.
guessing what her name is. Okay, so she's a gull, and not just a girl. Gull from Gull. Okay, and this is like back in, you know, when Nero and back in Rome, and she was very well known for poisoning people. She got her jollies off. She really got her jollies off on that one. And unfortunately, she was a little messy. And this particular one, and she's classified as a serial killer. I don't know how many she actually killed, but she was kind of in with the horror. I mean, not horror. Horror, I guess. It just wait on the horror. Just wait on the horror part. I'll tell you why. Okay, so during this time, the people that were, you know, high up in Rome, of high society and on the council and stuff like that, took notice of what she did. She was sloppy. She got thrown in jail a lot, but she would get bailed out all the time because they saw that she could take care of a problem that you might be having. Therefore, she was kind of like a murder for hire kind of thing. That went through for quite some time. Quite a few people died because of it. But the thing was with her is after Nero ended up coming to his demise and dying, she finally was called to justice and she was sentenced to death. So she was thrown into the Colosseum in front of lots of people. Welcome back, Mia. Lots of people. And it was rather befitting, but horrifying what her sentence to death really actually was and what she endured. Okay, there's no way to sugarcoat this guy, so I'm just gonna come out and say it. She was fucked by a giraffe and then torn apart by wild animals. Yep, for her misdeeds.
Oh god, that was rough. That.
How in the
I knew about it,
hell?
but I wasn't ready for it. Oh god. On that note, hi Midnight Paranormal. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome
Nice
to
to
the
meet
Fuck
you.
by Giraffe Hour.
Not necessarily on that note.
Conversations we come into.
Hey, the furry
She was fucked by a giraffe. What?
Yes, by a giraffe.
Oh, God.
How is that
I don't
even
know
physical?
Oh, God.
I
My
don't
life
even
hurts.
know.
can't see that. I can't see it. I can't see how that's even physically
I don't even
possible.
know
I don't
how
want
they
to
made
see
it
it. I
happen.
do not.
Nope. Although I see
Oh,
the
God.
being
I don't-
possible with those
mm-mm.
long tongues of
I
theirs.
love you too.
I can see that, but
Oh, God.
not in the southern hemisphere.
Oh, God.
More saying hi to everybody.
The realization
Oh,
just came
gosh.
into Mary's head, and the visual is just like, oh no.
Oh dear God, the Toys R Us giraffe.
Oh,
Now
Was
that's
it Jeffrey?
way to go,
my
Chuck.
God. No.
And hello, Focus Demise. Welcome.
I have no idea how that happened. I don't even want to think
Oh,
about how they
God.
made that happen.
Yeah, Focus Demise is wondering what the hell happened here. What did I miss?
Oh,
What did I just walk into? Hi, Joker's demise.
yeah, I don't even know how
A
they would
horse.
have. Oh, God.
They may have hung her. Oh
No, see, I
Gad.
don't want to think about that either.
Oh
That's
Jesus
terrifying.
Christ! Really? Oh, it would be like a
Oh,
pinata.
God.
Yeah.
Why?
They hung her high.
Or maybe they
Bong,
strapped her to the
Oh,
giraffe.
my God.
Bong, bong, bong. I'm sorry. I shouldn't.
Tied her to the giraffe, I wonder.
Next
don't
on the
even wanna think.
with the Horror Honeys, we're talking about
Bestiality and its drawbacks.
By the way, we are not for children,
Oh,
guys.
God.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, no, just in
Look
case
at
you
your
didn't get
ears.
that from the fucked by giraffe portion of this segment.
Yes.
Hey,
We are
it
not
was
for children.
Yeah.
Anyway.
that was her sentence. I guess if for somebody who was a serial killer, and they capitalize on her mental whatever, is it a fitting end to her? I mean, it's bad enough being ripped apart by wild animals, but a giraffe.
Yeah.
I
wonder.
Hey,
would think that
Master Angler. How are
Uh,
you?
But we want to go back. Let's go back to the Pippin twins, or Pippin,
Sisters. Sisters. They weren't twins.
not twins. Sorry, sisters. My bad.
The Pippin sisters. They actually
Take it back right now.
were separated as children for most of their childhood.
Yeah, they didn't grow up together.
It wasn't until they were older that their parents, and then this is a situation where the parents were married, the parents were working and living together, but the parents were not able to take care of their children. And so they, one of the girls was sent to a convent. The other girl was sent to a family member. And I don't know how it happened. I can't remember all the details right off the top of my head. But they ended up working as maids for the same couple.
Mm-hmm.
And
I feel sorry for those people after what they endured. Tell them.
They went out to, and it was, I can't remember exactly how she said that she'd lost her temper because of the woman had said something cruel to her. Apparently the younger of the two sisters was very submissive, and the older was very dominant in their personality types. And the lady of the house had objected to the way that they had done some house cleaning. And
She snapped.
she snapped. Yeah, I would think that's one way to say it. She snapped.
Yes.
They took the eyeballs out of the head.
say they had some missing eyes there. I'm like, oh, geez. And they
Yeah,
found
one of the victims, I think it was the older lady, her eyes were taken out of her head and they were tucked into her scarf, her neck scarf.
Yes.
yes.
Just
her
get code.
Her daughter was also killed. Her eyes too were removed. And the thing is that nobody even realized that this family, because this family was supposed to have gone out of town for a couple of days, nobody even noticed that this family was missing until like 3 days later.
This is why you tell people.
This is like
Yes.
Velisca crosses a Lizzie Borden type thing, except for the corpse, the pictures of the corpse. I don't know if we have those. I don't.
I don't think we have those, and I don't.
I've seen them.
I've seen them. If any of you, there's a couple of sites that are really, really good on YouTube for these. Obsolete Oddity is one. Briefcase is another. Forgotten Lives is another one. Forgotten Lives, just a point of trivia, is Mortis Media's brother. Can y'all still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I looked over at my phone and it didn't look like it was doing anything. Not that it isn't, but
I found out a little bit more about Lawani. I think that's how it's pronounced, but that's the
one was named Leia, wasn't she? Leia?
Yeah,
that's
the younger. Yeah, that's the younger sister.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the older one.
That's the younger.
Is that the lady of the house developed depression, and the girls became the target of her mental illness. The abuse worsened to the point that she would slam the girls' heads against the wall.
Right.
Oh my god.
Probably did other things.
She was abusive. There's no denying she was abusive. But what she did, what they did to her, her daughter, her husband, I just can't. I can't justify it. And when they found the girls, and this was another thing about the conditions they were living with. They had one room and one bed that they shared, and the room was ice cold all the time, from what people said. But when they found the girls, they were in bed, naked, using their body heat to keep each other warm.
And also, they had a bloody hammer with some hair still clinging to it.
Yes, the hammer was still on the chair or next to the bed or something like that. That still had matted blood
and hair
on it from the murder.
It's just yay. And I can't say it today, AF. I'm sorry.
But here's something a little bit ironic about the crime. It happened right on February the 2nd, 1933.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody?
So happy Groundhog's Day. Time to die.
Yeah, really.
But
I would not want to live that day over again.
I actually had, I mean, either. I had never heard of them until I saw the video that Obsolete Oddity did on them. And then I went and I watched a half a dozen other videos on them. Because, yes, he goes into the details and he does a very good job and everything, but he doesn't like to use a lot of the crime scene videos or pictures or anything like that. And he didn't, in this case, do that. And so I wanted to see, because they had diagrams of the house and things like that, and he didn't have those for me to look at, and I wanted to look at them. Mm-hmm. Okay, Joker's demise. Okay. Well, good luck. What time are you going live?
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for showing up. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. And we're actually hitting our 1 hour mark right now, guys.
Please come again.
Believe it or not, it is.
We haven't even gotten to the mother load.
I know Elizabeth Bathory was another one that he did a fabulous one, and I could not find a way to get you guys to the video. Thank you, Midnight Paranormal. And Joker's Demise is going live in about 30 minutes.
Yes, check him out.
Check him out. Elizabeth Bathory, and I will tell you, I have a lot of problems with some of the things she was accused of. I know she was found guilty and all this. I agree with that. Yeah. But you look at the time that she was found guilty at. You look at the people who were actually bringing up the charges and testifying against her and involved. You look at the situation of the politics of the time. This is a woman during a time period where women were not allowed to have power. Women were not allowed to hold money. Women were not allowed to be heads of states.
Ugh.
She married a very wealthy man who, through her, inherited her family's wealth. And then he died. And she was left a widow. And she refused to remarry. When he died, the nobility owed their family much, much, much money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They were in debt. Even the monarchy was in debt to the Bathorys.
Mm-hmm.
The Count and Countess had, supplied money for war, supplied armies and everything. And they were owed that money. They were owed that support back. And now the Count was dead, and here's the Countess, and she's refusing to remarry. Her uncle sent his son to be her husband. Now, this was agreed to by her family, not her. Her uncle was disinherited by the family for, I can't remember what crimes, but he had done something and they had disinherited him. She refused to marry his son. He had been the one that had first brought her into sadism.
No.
Yes. Yes.
And Satanism.
Oh, yes.
And he
that
was
much
the
is
one.
known that he ended up building. I mean, somebody, was it him that ended up building? Or was it her husband? It was her husband, wasn't it? That built the torture chamber or whatever. She had her very own torture chamber, and she did utilize it. Her and her husband did go down,
Yes.
and they did do things that were.
But at the time, when you had war prisoners, we didn't have to treat your war prisoners well.
No, they had their way with them. All sorts.
It's, I'm going to torture you to get what I need out of you, and then I'm going to kill you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but there was so much more that went into it.
Well, yeah, there was, but I'm just.
It was already, yeah.
Oh, I found out another little factoid is that when she was a child, she suffered multiple seizures caused by epilepsy, too.
The actual charges of her actually bathing in the blood of the girls was not actually in the original transcripts of the trial, which I found interesting, which is something that Adi found, which I thought, like I said, was interesting. I didn't know that they even had those transcripts to look at, but then again, I don't speak the language.
No, but we were discussing this before we went on the show about when you look at blood and how it behaves after it leaves the human body, it just
Yeah.
yes, it just doesn't seem
Possible.
feasible unless it was mixed with water. To
Well,
be able
it's
to.
like our first lady, Leonarda.
Mm,
Yes.
It congealed on her, so she made cakes out of it.
Yep.
mm.
Now I can see using it as a lotion,
Mm.
right on your body, but I can't see a way that you can actually take a bath in just blood. You have
First
to
of
mix it
all,
with
you're
something,
not going
and
to have enough. You're not going to have enough unless you
no,
call or kill multiples.
it's going
And
to
even
take
when
more
you do
than one
that,
person.
yeah, exactly. And the time that it takes to empty one and then empty another, I mean, they would all have to be done at the same time. But even then, you're not going to have enough blood. It's going to take more, it's going to take quite a few people, and it's going to be just clumped all over the place. I mean, I can't
Yeah,
see
it's
how
not
it
going
would
to be.
even be feasible.
Yes, it would be cold. It would be cold.
Yes.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Oh,
That's
she
another
also
point,
had
too.
4 children:
Yeah,
Paul, Anna, Ursula, and Catherine.
Yes, and her children didn't do any of this shit.
No.
But I really think that she was partially set up. Now there may have been some truth in some of it, but I don't believe that all of the things she was
Oh, I
found
think that a
guilty
lot of
of.
people, just like Vlad, if you look at, I hate to bring him up because it's not the show for it, but there's a lot of people that will throw similarities in there about the legends and stuff like that. Some say that she even consumed it. I don't know about that much. I don't know, but it's like a
You look at the
romanticizing,
time.
with the whole vampire thing and
Yes.
You
with
have
the
to look
lore
at
and
the
stuff. I
time
can
that
see
those
how it would get out of
reports.
hand as far as what is actual facts versus, legend and fears and, when it comes to superstitions and stuff like that, which were running rampant at the time, by the way. I mean, they still
Yes.
do, but
Yeah.
that time period, oh hell yeah. So,
But at the same time, you have to think that this was a time period where witches, if you were a wise woman, you were a witch,
Yes.
mhm.
and
Yes,
they would accuse you of being a witch. And she was not only wealthy and powerful, which was everything they were against
Mhm.
with a woman, she was refusing to bow down.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, but I find it hard to believe that the first charges are brought by a man who is a known sadist who introduced her to it itself, and who has been basically cut out of the family wealth and wants back in. And just on a note of interest, he did get her wealth and control of her lands and castles and everything after she was found guilty.
Ugh.
That's wicked. But yeah, I'm glad that we had this discussion beforehand, that we started talking about this because honestly, I think there's a lot of misconceptions with this story and
Yes,
about,
there is.
not saying that she didn't do bad things because she did.
Oh, I'm not excusing the bad things she did, because I'm sure she did.
Yeah, but the whole I think there's a lot more to the story and a lot of misconceptions with it.
And also
I'm glad that
exaggerations of it
points out.
too.
Yes.
Mhm.
I will say that. And she had a span of from 1590 to 1610 of her crimes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And and I wasn't going to bring her up, but here I go bringing her up.
Marie?
Madame LeLaurie.
Oh yes.
I wasn't going to bring her up because there's a lot of, and I don't have everything in front of me, and I really would like to have everything in front of me when I'm talking about her. But I do know that there are some of the charges that we hear of her being convicted of or having done were not in the original trial. or trials, because she actually went on trial more than once. And some of them weren't even in the newspaper until 200 years later when somebody was going to write a book. And they had
You're
never
talking
been
about the
seen
one
before
down-
the book.
Are you talking about New Orleans?
Yes. Madame
Okay.
LaLaurie.
She is. There actually, her
I'm not-
house is up there and turned into
It
a
is
museum.
still there.
Yes, you
It-
can
it
actually
is
go
still there.
see it. She
I have
killed
been
many
by
of
it
her
several
slaves.
times. I have never been able to go into it because
I wanna
every
see
time
it.
I've been down there, it's been occupied by private owners. One time I was there, it was being owned by Nick Cage, as a matter of fact.
Come on, Nick Cage, give it up. We want him.
Yes.
Let me, please. I just want to go through once. That's it. Basement to attic. That's it. I'll leave.
They say the only reason why she kind of got caught was basically because the house caught on fire. And
Well, one of
that's
the
what-
slaves-
Oh yeah.
Had done something in cooking. I can't remember exactly. This is why I want my paperwork in front of me.
Mhm.
And was chained to the stove. And because of that, she was angry at her mistress, so she started a fire in the kitchen, thinking that that would get her out of the chain. Well, it was during a dinner party. They had a lot of New Orleans high class in, and it started burning down the house. And she wasn't even worried about the slaves that were in the house. She was just worried about her family and her guests. And this is what caught, the firefighters were going in and pulling out the slaves and anybody else that they found.
The attic.
And when they got into the attic and they found the slaves that were up there, some of which had obviously been cut on,
Torture.
surgically,
Yes.
and other appendages put on their bodies that do not belong on human bodies. But you again, and this is another one, and I brought this up with Myra. Her husband was a doctor at this time. This is her third husband, if I remember right. He was a doctor, and he had the ability to supply her with the surgical tools and the surgical knowledge that she would need to be able to do the things that she did in the attic. I do not believe he was not in on it.
Had to have.
I think she had-
for
And hi,
obvious
Andy.
people,
Hello.
They were big hunters. I mean, of course, that makes
It's-
sense.
Do you also want
but-
to say hi, Josie?
Hi, Josie.
Hi, Josie. Evil witch. Yes.
Yes, sure. But
I figure
I
if you
just-
can field dress any deer or anything like that, you could possibly have enough knowledge to be able to do that to something other than a deer.
But
Personally.
for her, she was a society matron. She
Yes.
was raised in the upper class of New Orleans. She had no knowledge of that type of thing
Are you sure?
unless somebody taught it to her.
I think she, I'm almost positive that she had that knowledge, to tell you the truth. And I think that has to deal with
And they-
something back in, because she I thought, well, that could be, I need to look into that. That not only just a hunt for sport.
Well,
Hunt for
her husband was not known as a
But even in high society, though, hunting for
Yeah.
sport, that's a big thing.
Oh, yes, it was.
not down here. There's too many
Well-
Lugaroos.
Hard to say, I guess. Well, I don't know. It's something that might have came from, because they weren't originally from here, were they? They
Well,
came
she
here.
was. She
Oh,
was
yeah,
born
they-
here.
She
Yeah,
was.
they came from France.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to
Now
say.
they ran to France, so reportedly, one story says they ran to France and she's buried in Paris. One story says she ran to France, came back, and was buried in Metairie. One story said that they never left Louisiana. They just went out across the river and hid. And that they were doing midnight spell casting on the riverbanks and was seen there. So again,
the stories
there's
are a little bit flighty on that. So
Yes, they are.
there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of, and that's why I said I don't want to. I don't like talking about her without the books in front of me, because
Yes.
I can tell. Well, this story came from this time period, which is 50 years after she disappeared. So how did I don't see how that was stayed hidden for 50 years. I don't see how that stayed hidden for 100 years. You know, somebody wants to write a book and all of a sudden the atrocities are 10 times worse than they were to begin with. What? What?
Saved, though. She had a tally.
Artistic license.
Artistic license.
Yeah.
Then you can't say it's a true story.
Well, it
And
is.
you
I
can't
mean,
call it
yeah.
history.
Well, I guess you can say like what she did to her victims was artistic license, like attaching body parts of whatever. I don't know.
I mean, like
Yeah.
coming out later on, like all these horrific things, as opposed to like right away or something. Sometimes it gets twisted, and people say it's real. And
yes.
Yeah, but I think
I'm not saying it wasn't,
that would
but-
fall into the whole. You know, they mentioned her on American Horror Story and Coven.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing
the
that.
main characters.
Right.
and
Kathy Bates. God, I love her. She did an
was
awesome
good.
Oh my God.
Okay.
you
She
know,
was perfect
representation.
for that role.
But
I will
There's
tell you,
a lot
They-
of misconception.
yes, I will tell you that as far as historical content and rights, American Horror Story is nowhere near history.
No. I'm not saying it's history.
Oh
I'm just
no,
saying
no.
that they
No,
did
but I know.
Yes.
and incorporate it in one of their stories, you know, as one of the main characters. And I thought it was very interesting how they intertwine that. And, you know, that's just American Horror Story. But, you know, just saying, you know, I remember that. And I kind of like Coven. Coven's not too bad. It was interesting.
It was actually very decent.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. So, but
I liked
yeah,
Freak Show on that one.
Oh God, Freak Show. Oh, God. I just like American Horror Story in general.
Yes.
I like how
Mhm.
they twine, you know, the whole fantasy with, you know, things that have gone on. Not saying that it's, you know, and by all means, I'm not using any of those to go by.
It's just
as
fictional
purpose.
history, that's all.
Right, you know, but they incorporate that in, you know, with their stories, and I think it's cool how they do that, because there's a lot of people that, you know, some people might not have known about, but there's others, you know.
Yes.
Just it's pretty cool how they do that.
Oh,
And I love that
Eva,
face.
Eva Vitcher, she says, your makeup looks friggin' awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. So,
Yes.
Bathory, you know, is there somebody that we have not touched on that we need to touch on?
I think that's pretty much it for now.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I can honestly say that today's list is, you know, and by far we have so many more that is on the list that we couldn't even get to, and some of them are really bad. How these people are able to do the things that they do is beyond me. But damn, you know, damn. That's cold, man. That's some cold bitches we went through today.
Oh, yes.
And we didn't even touch on some of the nursing home, you know, and the Angel of Death and you know, some of those people. Oh, God, they were
Or
terrible.
a woman that killed their own children.
Yes, there's many more. I mean, Diane
Oh, yeah.
Downs. I mean, I don't know. We didn't get a chance to touch on that. That was more probably of we were discussing that earlier. It was the whole Munchausen thing, syndrome that goes along with some of these women that take down their children like they do, making them look like they're the ones that tried to save the day, and tell that to the survivors. Because there is, like, with Diane, she even got pregnant when she was in jail. Because she said she couldn't stand being, without her kids, even though she was the one who obviously did it. And she's had so many paroles that have been denied because her story keeps changing. And she just likes the limelight. I mean, why would you... Oh. How can somebody be so vain to take their children's life like that in order to get, personal gratification, from other people to, feel sorry for me because my children are gone. Well, there's a reason why your children are gone.
Oh, jeez. Also, we can cover Rose West.
Mm.
Yeah, with her husband Fred. Oh my god.
That's
that
another
was one sick bitch.
Definitely.
There's so many that we could be going over completely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even get to Eileen.
Eileen Wuornos.
No, we didn't.
Oh
no, we didn't get to Wuornos. That was the one that we were going to cover. That was the one I was thinking. And we forgot about her. How can we forget about her? Oh, Lord. She's notorious. Definitely. And she had a tragic story, too. Real tragic. And are we going to be able to get Mia back on here before we close out?
Oh, and also, El Loco Nightmare is here.
Loco!
Hey, bye.
So, yeah. I mean, I hope that everybody enjoyed the show. We wanted to cover this months ago. Just a matter of our time and everything. We got a chance to get back to it, thank God. I know that we have another show that's going to be coming up, and I know that there's quite a few other topics that we really want to cover. I know there's topics that I want to cover, diving into a few things around this world, because the stories out there are noteworthy of being creepypastas and the worst nightmares you could possibly think of.
Yes.
And here they
and
are.
Is backstage, so whenever she can come in.
Cultures, depictions of what happens in the afterlife, what happens when we die, what happens when we are waiting on where we're supposed to go or where we're supposed to be in the afterlife. What happens till then? Burial rites and stuff like that. I know that I would love to cover that, and I can't wait for that show to come up. So I hope
that's going to be fun.
I'll be waiting for it, because there's some messed up shit out there.
Crazy.
Yes.
We can do that for October.
Ooh, I want to do it before October. We'll have something by October. We're ahead on topics, that's for damn sure. But I definitely want to go and cover some of those things. I don't know. Is there any other topics that anyone wants to cover? Please let us know.
Give us some suggestions, please.
Because we'll add it to the list. We'll get to them eventually. And we'll let you know as they come up. And
yes, and don't leave either, because Dezombified is going to be doing an unboxing next as well.
Ooh, that's going to be fun.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What? I missed it. What?
They're going to be doing an unboxing.
Oh!
We get to
I'm going to see that. Oh, that sounds exciting.
What do we have here in this lovely package?
They're showing a little clip of it, of the box.
I'm missing it. I'm going to have to catch it on replay because I can't see anything in chat. Boo!
Oh, yes, we can cover real-life vampirism. That's not a problem.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a whole culture right there.
Thanks,
there's
Fiend.
so many different kinds. That's worth covering. Definitely.
Oh, yes.
They also get into some cryptids. God, covering some alien stuff too would be kind of cool. I
Oh,
think.
yes.
You know, the whole probing thing. You can't get away from probing.
And
No
also,
probing.
and
Probing. What's
also if you want advice from a Grim Reaper of how to handle things, I'm your girl.
Well, I don't know. Are we gonna get Mia back in here before we get a chance to say goodbye, or?
Oh, she says she's got the flu. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so she's not coming back. Okay, well,
No.
let's. I guess we're running about an hour and a half now. We don't want to go too far. Oh. And hello.
Hello.
It's Mysterio.
Oh. Yep.
Oh, fabulous.
Doing great.
You guys doing the unboxing?
It's always exciting to do the unboxing.
Yeah, we
God,
can stick around
teasing,
for that,
though, you're gonna have to tell me what's going on. Describe it.
please.
Yes.
I saw what he did there. Nice. Yes. Yes. I wonder.
There was some anal probing being talked about, but I'm not surprised because it came from
Hey,
Wayne.
Great White.
That's what
You know what? I'm
Great
really
White.
surprised we didn't talk about food.
Oh my god. I thought about food.
I know.
Ooh,
Ooh.
what do we have here?
Throw that paper away.
Ooh.
Yeah. We don't. Oh yeah, get that box.
Yes.
Get that box. Get it good.
Ooh, what do we have here?
Oh, Mia says she wants back in. Don't need that cardboard either.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow. Congratulations on that.
Ooh, soak it in.
Mm.
All that technology goodness.
Ooh.
Look what we have spawned.
Oh yeah, get that box. Show that box some love.
Oh, playing the box.
Oh, he was showing it.
Yep.
Give it to kitties.
Oh, the little heart.
Oh. Oh, Mia says she's waiting to get back in. I guess she's backstage. You were, I saw it. Laid it down gently and everything.
Oh, yeah. With such tender, loving care.
There she is.
Yay!
Goodness.
Yay!
I was trying to get back in, and everybody was talking. I don't know what's going on with that. It's probably the fact that I'm on my phone today instead of on the computer.
Oh.
My phone does that.
You can't. I can hear her.
Yeah, just fine.
I could hear her even when I was watching the stream instead of the.
Okay.
Because I.
Yeah, you have to blame the bad Wi-Fi because everybody's getting online all at once because of this crisis. So it's just a given.
Yes. Hi, traffic.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness. I found for those of you that have Amazon Prime Video, I found a movie this week, and granted, it took me it's a 2-hour movie. It probably took me 6 hours to watch it because I kept falling asleep. It's a Korean language movie. It is set in Korea. It does have English subtitles, although there's enough English spoken that you don't have to read them all the time, and you kind of pick up on what people are saying. There's an English guy there that I wanted to strangle, and he doesn't speak Korean at all. The thing is that it brought to mind what's happening with the coronavirus when I was watching it, and it was like, this is very much what is happening in a way with the coronavirus, and not to the extremes of military action being taken on on civilians, but in a way it could get that bad if people were going to extreme. This is we do movies, we show the worst. That's part of what books, stories, movies are there to try to teach us not to be. We're not trying to be the best. We try to show the worst case scenario. We try to give, Frankenstein was, yes, a man making a man, but it was also about how science was trying to reinvent God. And how man was trying to become a god. And to an extent, there are still things that medically we probably should not even try to do. Like cloning. Cloning brings up a whole nother can of worms that I don't think we're ready for.
No. Although
I don't need another one of me running around. Hell no.
Although,
I've got kids.
I will say this about cloning is that I think it's a more humane way to clone body parts.
But you have to be careful about the way you do that.
Yeah, so of course what I'm trying to say is that you can grow parts of yourself.
Right.
And that way it would be a nice transplant, especially if you lost an arm or lost a leg. It can
more likely your body will
exactly.
Yeah,
You don't
one person.
Yeah.
One person.
Yeah, because
That's
it's
not
from your own.
anything from today's discussions
Yeah,
about
but-
The
serial
body will
killers.
not reject it because it's
God.
from your own DNA, and therefore it's like, oh, okay, fine, it's from me. I
But
will
at the
accept
same
it
time,
because
I don't
it's
want
better.
them to clone me
No.
so that I have interchangeable parts in case something goes wrong.
So think of it this way: you can clone a new heart for yourself. You can clone a new liver or new kidneys for yourself. It's a lot better because it's from you. Your body will accept
As
it.
long as they don't do it like a full-grown person, like
No.
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying, like
That's my issue
making an
there.
actual person and taking that from them. That's not fair. That's
Yeah.
horrible.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
against. Is you don't clone a person. It's like having a child to save another child. I'm having this baby so that my existing child will have a new liver. What?
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
So
No, yeah, well, cloning pizza and bacon, that's a different thing, Spike Hunter. We can talk about that.
Oh, now the food topics start coming
Oh
in.
my God.
But again,
Yes.
that's
Look,
what
they've
this
been
movie
coming in. I just haven't said anything.
that's what this movie was about. It was showing us the worst case scenario of what could happen in a place. It just happens in this case to be Korea, but I could see this happening anywhere. And the name of the movie is Flu.
simple.
FLU. And like I said, it is a Korean language movie. It was done in Korea. It's set outside of Seoul. But at the same time, it could be anywhere. And I have to say, I love the president of the city, of the district. I really love the way he stands up for his people. And I'm not going to give too much of the story away by saying that, because
You said it's on Amazon.
it's on Amazon, and it is included with your Prime Amazon membership, so you don't have to pay any extra for it.
Okay.
You'd clone the Horror Honeyz. No, you don't want to clone us.
No.
One of us is enough.
Oh God, you don't
much
want another one
trouble.
of me. You don't.
No, you don't. It would be too much trouble.
Oh God.
Hi, Taylor. Tails to chill. Yay!
Hey,
Hello.
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 That's okay, Josie.
I
We love
I
you.
would watch a movie called Bacon 2.
I would too.
okay.
Actually, I think I'm going to get some chicken broth and put some ramen in it after we get
I'd rather eat bacon instead of watch it.
Oh, this bacon talk. I got bacon in the fridge. I don't know if I should touch it or not because I might get yelled at.
Oh my God.
I'll eat the whole
I've
pat
got bacon
myself.
in the freezer.
Imagine Kalima.
How it's lasted, I don't know.
Right there. No, that would be scary.
Don't stand between me and my bacon. Kalima, rip your heart out. Sorry.
But I think it's appropriate. I don't know. I think I
would
said it
stab somebody
earlier.
for eating bacon,
It's
just saying.
appropriate that Kali Ma, Bien Shiva did Kali Ma today, because Kali Ma is the mother goddess and the goddess of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
And you don't piss off Mama.
Oh, no. No.
Mm-hmm.
She's like the primal mother bear spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you think karma's bad? You ain't seen nothing when Kali gets a hold of you.
Exactly. Scary thought. That's scary thought. Ooh, even I got chills thinking about it.
Yes.
I got chills, they're multiplying.
Oh,
And I'm losing control.
it's electrifying.
Lots of bacon used as bait to lure my victims.
Yeah, I would instantly become one of those victims. There's not even.
Oh God.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that must be fun.
Oh my goodness.
Josie, please tell me you don't have Chrono. Bye, AF.
Bye-bye. Bye, Finn.
Thank you for stopping in.
Okay. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
So that's it for this week.
Yeah, and
What's coming up
thank you.
next week?
next week I'm losing my throat. No.
No.
Where'd it go?
Next week, we were gonna do. I'm trying to look at the list. I can't find it right now. Damn it. This is what happens when I'm not sitting at my computer. I can't find everything.
Well, you know what? We can always leave that as a. You're gonna just have to show up to find out.
Well, yeah, you
Oh,
are
yeah.
going to have to show up to find out.
To be continued, ladies and gentlemen.
But
Damn well better show up.
Because Mary is like half serial killer, and she'll come find you.
It's true. We just figured that out today. That
You have
And
two
she
out
knows
of like the
Biomania.
15 million symptoms that makes you,
Yeah.
you're hide. Sorry, that's just the way it goes, isn't it? That's the way.
something like that.
yeah, just a few things that connect me.
Yes.
Yeah, that means I am totally.
Totally. Yes.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Ready?
Bittersweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.
Bittersweet dreams.
Bittersweet dreams.
Mwah.
Bye, guys.
Love ya.
See you next week.
So